So these old guys are here to stay. As much as you might hate them, they're not stopping until I don't even know when. It's just going to keep going. Alright, so let's get some music going here again. Alright, so, okay, well, this is actually an outdated topic now, because, Anthony Davis will not be available for the All-Star break, so Devin Booker will be replacing him, but LeBron James said Devin Booker is the most disrespected player in the league. Now, Booker is not disrespected, so let's stop that there. We know he can play. And I'm not saying that CP3 absolutely deserved it over him. I mean, there's a case for both of them. But, CP3 is the reason they're winning. I mean, they weren't winning with Devin Booker during his time there before CP3 came. So that's definitely some value there. So I think CP3 was a little more deserving, but Booker has that all-star energy. So I see why people like him, but I like CP3 over him by a nose. It's close, though. But they're both going to be there now because, like I said, Booker is going to be playing. So, alright. So, the Packers look like they're going to lose Aaron Jones in his free agency. We better be able to keep Corey Linsley. I saw a report that we might not be able to keep him, but we better keep Linsley if we're going to lose Jones, because Jones can be replaced, because our offensive line is amazing. As long as you have a great offensive line, the running back could do well. But we can't replace Linsley. And this is a good move for the Dolphins. It says Jones and the Dolphins have mutual interest. So, it's a good move because here's what they need. They need one more lineman, maybe. They need a running back and one more receiver. Everything else is great. Their defense is great. Special teams great. Coach great. So they could fix up the receiver and O-line in the draft and pick up Jones in free agency. That would be key. That would go a long way. So, this is my last football topic of the day before I move into baseball. You know what? No, I'm going to save the best for last. So, let's move on to baseball here. Alright, so let's do some news for baseball. Here we go. What do we got here? Alright, what do we have for baseball? Alright, so not that much today, but still something. So, the Blue Jays of Vlad Guerrero clearly is motivated. He apparently lost 42 pounds this offseason, my bad. And this is big. I mean, he's 21, and he's good. I mean, his defense has been a concern, and that was kind of it. I mean, like, let's look at some stats he's had in his career. Let's see this. So in his 2 seasons, 86 runs, 24 homers. His batting average is .269. He's not a terrible hitter. His defense is a little rough. I think a weight loss is big for him. I think he's going to be able to move easier. He's a third baseman. He should be able to move. I think that's going to work out very well for him. And like I said, I think the Blue Jays are a sleeping giant, and I think it's going to be crazy for them next year because they had a lot of great people in free agency. Which leads me to my next opinion, off-season grades for the American League. So the Baltimore Orioles are going to receive a B-. They spent the offseason carving out more playing time for younger players with little to show in return. I mean, they're going to pay Cobb the bulk of his salary to pitch in Los Angeles, which is going to end in a miserable $57 million tenure. So, I mean, he posted a 5.1 ERA over 41 starts. So, I mean, the additions of Harvey and King Felix at least provide some excitement around the camp. So, pretty good. So the Red Sox are going to get a B+. They didn't make any major moves, but Cora's return should provide a spark to the team that looked disengaged last season. Jackie Bradley was a defensive anchor in center field for the last 7 seasons, and his departure will likely be felt. But with a strong in place and the return of Rodriguez, there's a number of reasons to buy in on the upside of the roster, despite significant questions. So I'm giving them a B+ here. The White Sox, one of my favorite teams, I'm going to give them an A. They went with quality over quantity. They added Lynn, Hendricks. They give the club 2 elite arms who help cement the rotation and the bullpen. Their front 3 starters rival any other trio in the AL, and they should help the club come playoff time. There's a significant drop-off at the back end of the rotation, though, and the front office would have been wise to add another veteran arm, which is expecting too much of Michael Kopech. That could prove problematic, but reuniting with Eaton so early in free agency was a bit of a head-scratcher, and that money might have better used on another power bat. So A- or an A. I'm giving them an A, because I think the additions of Lynn and Hendricks is pretty big. Indians, I'm giving them a C. They traded away one of the greatest players of franchise history in Lindor, and a beloved member of the pitching staff in Carrasco for an underwhelming return. Hand was also... they also got rid of Hand in free agency for nothing other than salary relief. The front office shed significant salary in those moves, but hardly reinvested those savings back in the 2021 roster. I mean, Rosario should boost an outfield that's been lacking in power for years, so they're going to get a C. The Tigers, I'm giving them a B. The Tigers, there's a lot of teams left here. This is going to take a while, isn't it? So, let's scroll back up to what I wrote about the Tigers here. I'm giving them a B. This season is looking to be another bridge year for them, because they got young horror future stars. Grossman is the only player in Detroit signed to a multi-year deal. The team is trying to keep flexibility on the roster. But the additions of like Holland and Urena will probably mean budding aces, because they got a pretty good I think their pitching group isn't that bad. So the Astros, they're gonna get a B-. Another significant loss for the Astros, Springer's departure. That fills in that's a massive void. That's a big empty spot there. Outside of a reunion with Brantley, it looks like Houston could take another step back. And who's surprised? I mean, they had to cheat to get their way up there, so not surprised that they're going back. But I'm going to give them a B-. They didn't do too terribly, I mean. I don't know. I'm giving them a B-. The Royals, I'm giving them an A here. A-. Don't tell them they're rebuilding. Dayton Moore is never one to raise the white flag, so it's refreshing to see the Royals trying to be competitive despite no clear path to the postseason. Santana and Alberto should provide some additional power from the corner infield. And I guess they hope Minor can bounce back from a down year. The real prize here is Benintendi. He's a pretty good addition, so I'm giving them an A- here. The Angels, I'm giving them a B. How much longer can the Angels spoil Mike Trout's talent? That's a genuine question. How much longer can they spoil it? I mean, this is ridiculous. The new front office did plenty of shopping this winter, though it's clear all of its additions are with the short term in mind. You know, Cobb, Fowler, Quintana, Suzuki. They're free agents at the end of the season, adding to what will be a significant amount of money coming off the books ahead of 2022. The rotation is deeper than in 2020, but the team is going to be banking on a number of starters to bounce back if it's successful. So they could be fighting for at least a wild card spot. The Minnesota Twins. Their regular season success in the last two campaigns has failed to translate to the playoffs. They've done little to suggest that will change this year. They added Happ and Shoemaker, which helped prop up the back of the rotation. But the team still feels like it's lacking one more quality starter. So I'm giving them a B here. B minus, anywhere from there. Yankees. I'm giving them anywhere from a B to B plus. It's tough to pinpoint. They brought back LeMahieu, which was a no-brainer, and I'm glad they did it. The lineup remains elite, but the pitching staff is banking on a pair of wild cards in Kluber and Talon. There's plenty on the resume of each, but it also seems like a major gamble for a team in its championship window. It's also discouraging to see the richest club in the sport, get rid of Ottavino's salary to remain under the luxury tax that when it hasn't won its World Series in more than a decade. But I'm giving them a B here. So the A's, they did pretty good last season. They crammed an entire off-season worth of business in the last 2 weeks. They lost Hendricks, which is a significant blow. Liam Hendricks was a big, he has a lot of value there. But the front office was able to recover by adding to the overall depth of the bullpen. They signed Romo and Rosenthal. They're rolling the dice on Andrews, but it can result in a significant downgrade from Simeon. But it can also do pretty well. And they got Moreland to exceed the value. He gives the club some much-needed power from the left side. They could find creative ways to remain competitive on a budget. So that's a B. The Mariners, they're going to get a B as well. I know I'm giving a lot of Bs out right now, but that's what this offseason has been for a lot of teams. So, they continue to build on the heels of a positive 2020 campaign. Paxton gives the Mariners a solid rotation that features a nice blend of veterans and young starters. Flexen was excellent in Korea last year, and it represents a low-risk lottery ticket. The biggest addition might come from Giles, the right-hander. He will miss from Tommy John surgery, but he'll give the club a top closer next year. So, when it aims to compete for a playoff spot next year, he'll be pretty impactful. So it's a B. So the Rays, they're going to get a B as well. It's been a weird winter for them. They're losing Snell and Morton, which is going to hurt, especially in the short term. But the Rays have built a reputation on operating unconventionally, and they're owed the benefit of the doubt. The farm system is absolutely loaded, and the big league roster remains good enough to be in the playoff race. Even if it does take a step back, the long-term future of the club is very bright. So they're going to get B there. The Rangers are going to get a B minus. It was incredibly busy this winter, though that won't likely going to translate into wins. Lynn was moved, and they did well to get Dunning in return. Shipping out Andrews was also